Good morning, family. Welcome. Welcome to the Eagle Eye Crew, the nest, the home of the Eagle Eye Crew, Melted Red Brick University. Like, share, and subscribe. Donate if you can. All the links are in the description boxes below. You can go to Spartan or Die backup channel on Odyssey, where you can catch the archive of Meltology, if you will. All the past streams available. Much out there, many up there. Show them Meltology, because this is what we're about. Melted Red Brick University. The Eagle Eye Crew, from the get-go, we've been about the evidence. And we've tried to stay focused on that. And we do. We stay focused on that, and there's a lot of distractions out there. First and foremost, let me say brick love to you, Sandra boys. One love to you and yours, sweetheart. Fervent Heat, Laughing Eagle, Mel, did anyone receive the email I sent? Please. No, darling, I did not. I will check again. I did not. Please send again. I put my email out there. As you can see, please try again. And we will get in contact, Sandra. I'm very eager to see what you have to say. So Curtis 47, good morning, brother. Good morning to you, man. I hope you're doing well. You and your wonderful mom out there. I hope everything is great and things are going as planned for you, my brother, my friend. Thank you for being here. Jenny Yost, good morning to you too. Good morning to you too. Brick love, thank you for being here, Jenny. And yeah, this is me, Meltology Inc., Fervent Heat. You know me, Dino. Dean, just a guy out here beating a job, holding it down, trying to survive just like you. There's no big budgets here. It's just me. So unless they're taking Loyant as payment for stuff now, we keep on trucking, or at least I do. And I come up in here like this because I'm the only one left from the get-go to now. One love, brick love to Spartan, right? I hope you're watching, brother, and I hope you're relaxing and resting. And one love to you and your beautiful family. And thank you again, brother, for this format. Melted Red Brick University, and this stream here, this avenue for us to meet and go over Meltology, because that's what it's about. We are the tip of the spear, and when I mean we are the tip of the spear, I mean you are the tip of the spear. If you're just sitting and watching and you don't comment, but you understand the evidence and you're enthralled with that, you are the tip of the spear. If you're out there doing boots on the ground, you're researching the internet, the ethernet, the whatever net we want to call it, and you're looking for evidence, you are the tip of the spear. We individually are the tip of the spear, because we're showing this, we're investigating this, we're going out and observing it, touching it, spreading the word on it. That is the tip of the spear. So each of us have a collective part in this. And this separates us from the rest out there. All the rest that have been up here, this is what separates it. See, we have Melted Red Brick University, the Facebook group, the page. We post the evidence. We share. Okay? And we have this avenue here where we can come up in here and we can come together on this platform, on this stream right here, our own live stream, to show our evidence, to break down the evidence, to communicate within to one another. And, we are the shield of truth because that's what the evidence holds. It's not a personal thing. It's a evidence thing. And, there's a lot out there, researching for evidence, looking for evidence, there's a lot out there, that we, from the beginning. And there was a post up there by Gaz. Last night I was on my way home from work and looking at my cell phone, and he posted a very interesting pic. And, it very, very, at first, it looks like something that, it is. There are two pictures actually. And the bottom, one of the pics was the actual, great evidence. The other one, Gaz kind of put out there as a, little thing there. But, this shows something to us. And, we've noticed this from, looking at all kinds of evidence, especially the older ones, the older pics, they were manipulating with pics at the conception, at the introduction of photography. We call them vanilla sky pics, altered pics. A lot of them are altered because, they were trying to cover up things that they didn't want us to really get a grasp on what they were. And, so the art of trickery in photography has been around since the get-go. And, this is one of the things that we obviously confront and have confronted before. But the thing is this. The evidence is out there. We've shown it. The evidence is out there. We're walking on it. We know this to be true. So it's not a matter of whether evidence can be faked or not. The evidence are out there. And, this is what's important. This is why we got to stay vigilant. We got to show the ones that are, a little bit altered in this and that, and try to distinguish them, because that's what we're facing nowadays. With the age of this right here, with the art of deep fake, of voice fake, of everything fake on the little tippy-tappy devices that we have, you don't even know if you're talking to or you're listening to me right now, really. With the age of all this internet stuff and the manipulations and everything that they can do, they can make people believe anything. I could be a AI up here, and all you see is my voice, my avatar. Now, I could go full screen, and even with full screen, I could be deepfaked. We don't know. You don't know. That's how good AI algorithms are now. We need to understand this in our minds, because there's so much deception and manipulation out there. There really is. And it's for us to use our discernment, our judgment, our communication between each other, to confront the evidence. And this is a good thing, because it proves that we're trying to distinguish from the real than the not real, and what we've shown with the evidence stands alone, really. When you get out there and these places that are famous, these places that we go and do boots on the ground, they're there. We know they're there. And, when you're over the target and you're making sense and you're making an impact in your message, that's when the flak really starts blowing up around you, is when you're over the target. And we've been over the target for a while now, for a long while now, and we've got a lot of flack, a lot of haters, a lot of naysayers, a lot of this and that, trying to create issues and all of that. But that's just the nature of the beast when you're trying to show people the reality, the truth of what we found, And, there's a lot of people out there that get on platforms and their sole mission is to entertain themselves by trolling, shilling, whatever you want to call it. There's many names out there for people that just want to fuck around, really aren't into nothing. Their lives are so boring and drab that they get off on causing disruption and distraction and other things, and Meltology is just another one of those things. And that's why we're fortunate that Spartan Red created Melted Red Brick University and this avenue, this stream that we're enjoying right now, So, we're going to carry on with that. And, my apologies for being out of touch for a few days, especially to you, Sandra. Truther 85, yo to you. Rick Love. One love to you and yours. Sorry for being out of touch for it. My job is it kind of changed up my schedule. I work, they got me closing and they got me opening a couple of times during the week. And it's just, those time adjustments are really difficult to get to. And that's what's been going on. But, I am back up in here to let you know, crew, that we are up in here. And, we will be streaming. And things are going to be getting a little bit more frequent here. I'm trying to get some things sorted on my end through my schedule and stuff to where I can be a little bit more rested and consistent. Because, we get a better stream when I'm a little rested and more consistent, So my apologies for that, crew. But we are back here. Yes, we are. Let me see what you got, Sandra. I know what it is, trying to contact. Sandra, exactly. But I'm sticking my neck out. It's got to be done. Okay, darling. Well, I'll tell you what. I will be getting in contact with you one way or the other. You got my email up there. Let's see, Curtis47, you're on the YouTube. Sandra, you're on the YouTube. Everybody up here is on the YouTube. Okay. Well, we'll get in touch, Sandra, most definitely. We'll figure it out for sure. Try the Gmail again. And I'll see if I can find you and maybe Gmail you so we can, make sure we got in communication with each other there, darling. How the hell can I get in contact? I can't reactivate my Facebook because they won't photo ID, etc. I know, Sandra. This is the thing that we also have to face, crew, and I kind of touched on this last stream. With these algorithms, with all these platforms and stuff, we might not have this available soon. They're wanting to just shut everything down to where you have to apply for a permit to do this. So, this is the way things are going, but this is what's interesting. They can take down the platforms right now. They can do all of that. The evidence does not go away. The evidence does not go away. What you create in your file stays in your files unless they can hack it and delete it or do whatever. But the thing is, I can go out to the Goodwill right now and I can go to the book and magazine section and I can pick out a 1973 copy of National Geographic and I can start breaking down Meltology for you. See where I'm going? The evidence is too overwhelming. It's too everywhere. Not only is it tangible, touchable, pick up, feelable, we've got decades and decades and decades of photographic evidence. There's people out there got picture after picture after picture of all kinds of vacation trips they've took throughout the decades that they didn't understand Meltology. So, the evidence is out there. The suppression of it, they can make it a lot more difficult as far as using tech to get the message out. Most definitely they can, and most definitely they will. We understand this. I understand this. And this is why it's important that we got to spread the word. Get out there, boots on the ground. Get out there, touch somebody. Let them see it, explain it to them. Refer them to Melted Red Brick University because I have opened the nest, crew. All moderators out there. I'm accepting everybody right now. Everybody. And if they start acting up, we screen the page and, there's stuff up there that we get rid of them and we get rid of their content. And that's that quick. That's how we do it. People that want to come up in here, post evidence, become part of this melted messaging, getting out there and putting this word out and showing the evidence. That is what we're about. That is what we're about. And what separates us again, like I said, not only do we have Melted Red Brick University, we have the nest here for the Eagle Eye crew. For you to come up and post evidence if you want. because I can throw the link out there at any time I want to for you to grab it. And that's what separates us. I'm not up here for a personal gain. I'm up here for my contribution to Meltology, for my sole contribution. For me, this is me. This is what I'm doing to get the message. This is the situation. This is what I've invested myself in to get the word out on Meltology and to wake people up. I could have just denied Spartan Red's request and just sat in the background. I could have done that very easily. I could have saved myself $600 too. I could have saved myself thousands of hours of research, hundreds and hundreds of hours of being up here live stream with many others. I could have saved myself a lot. But I felt that it was a worthwhile thing in my life to do. We don't know where this is going to go. All we can do is do what we're doing, continuing to show the evidence, getting out there, boots on the ground, videotaping, video recording, bringing your evidence up so we can investigate it more. We can start bringing thought processes together on what exactly we're on, because there's many thought processes out there. There's the heliocentric thought process, which we've all been indoctrinated to. There's the flat earth thought process, where I can understand that. I more tend towards that than the heliocentric model, most definitely. But the thing is, if it's flat, how far flat? Where's the edge? Where's the stop? Where's the end? Is there an end? Is it an infinite flatness? What are we talking about here? And if, we've seen that on this realm where we're at, it's melted. I mean, we've seen the structures. Where does it stop and where does it start? Well, we don't know yet, because we've seen structure at very high elevations blended into the so-called mountains, part of the structure itself. And we've seen it way down in the depths of the floodwaters. Structure, renditioning, actual floor plans, columns, walls, you name it. We've seen it in the depths of the floodwaters. We've also seen it out in the middle of nowhere in the floodwaters, as far out as you can go, these so-called islands with structure melted into the sides of their so-called mountains, their so-called volcanoes. So how far does this go? How deep does it go? We don't know. That's why we have Melted Red Brick University. That's why we have people coming up in here and contributing their thought process and their evidence. This is what Spartan created this for. Because there's a lot going on out there. There's so many people out there now investigating so much. The Antarctica. We went into Antarctica. We investigated the Antarctic stuff a number of times, and we've seen melted structure crystallized in the so-called ice, in the blue ice. We've seen down in Antarctica. It's not all fucking ice, because Antarctica, I believe, is a vanilla sky, if you will. I just touched on the vanilla skies, the altering, the doctoring of the picture, the representation of what their truth is to us. It's a vanilla sky. It's doctored. Is that the real shape of Antarctica? Or is it just a image put over that to get us to think that? We don't know. We've only seen pictures of ships going down there. How do we know that's Antarctica? We don't know. We're only going off the information given to us. So this is why it's important to research many other people's research, many other investigators' research out there. There's so much tech now people are using to go beyond the vision of what we have now. And I mean vision, the observation of the plane that they're going out looking past the so-called ice wall, past the terra firma to the terra vista. How far does this realm go? And is it all melted? Do the other realms out there look like ours? Were they touched by our so-called X Factor event? We don't know. We don't know, these rockets that they're sending up into so-called outer space, where they show us all these digital recreations of their planets, if you will, out there. How do we know that these rockets aren't being thrusted out over the realm, over the barrier we call the ice wall, if you will, to other lands? Do they have the ability to launch an aircraft up into a rocket, i.e. space shuttle? Land somewhere else, refuel, relaunch, and come back into this realm? Do they have that ability? Well, they're firing them fucking things off to somewhere, aren't they? It looks like they take arcs and go out, not up. How far down in these DUMBs, these deep underground military bases, how far down have they go? What have they discovered? Have they discovered lost civilizations down there? Because we don't know how far the melt goes down. We don't know where it starts. Has all this black budget money throughout all these centuries and decades, all of our lives, all this money not accounted for, all these people missing, not accounted for anymore. How do we know where they're going? How do we know what that money is being spent on? How do we know that they're not just creating numbers digitally now, making money out of thin air to buy real assets, tangible stuff, weapons, food, supplies, water, you name it, whatever they need for where they're at? How do we know that our efforts here on the stuff that we make, we create, they're just not taking off and resupplying themselves somewhere else? We don't know that. It's feasible, is it not? Is it not? Eagle Eye Crew, Daz A, hey brother. Rick Love, One Love, Bad Guy, Ant, Buffoon? Buffoon, what do you mean by that? That's what I thought, cunt. Bad Guy, hey pussy, dude. Well, we got Mr. Bad Guy. Ant up here is like Titicaca Red Brick is like Titicaca Red Bricks. Well, I don't know, Bad Guy Ant. Why don't you research that, man? Why don't you research that? Hey, pussy, do research. Who we got up in here? Buffoon, not you. Well, thank you for clarifying that, Bad Guy Ant. Thank you for clarifying that, brother. Yeah, man, I'm opening the nest. We get people up in here. We want interested thought processes, man. And that's why I opened it up. Because, like I said, at this point, what's the point? So thanks for being here, crew, everybody out there. And Rick Love, One Love to you and yours. Yeah, and I'm going to bounce into some evidence here. And I might even throw the link out. I don't have a lot of time today because, my schedule, again, I got to go to work. You know that. You do too, probably. So we'll get on with this. Cool. Okay, Bad Guy. I got you, brother. I got you, man. I got you. It's all good. It's all good, crew. Moderators, you see somebody acting up in there, you got, give them a little time, let them show what they're about. But, they get too crazy, stupid, need to find another avenue, help them out a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and present some stuff here. And I'm just going to do a little talking as we get into it here. I was just clicking around on stuff, no specific area, just stuff that I saw. I captured, and I'm just going to bring up here and, bring it to the nest, bring it to the crew, and see what we think. And I got you on my phone here too. I can't see my screen while I'm doing this because I'm in share screen, but I do have my phone to where I can see the chats, and I'll try to pay attention to that. Just a second. Here we go. I think
you have too much junk in your phone.
I got too much junk in my phone, it says. Of course it does. Because there is a lot of junk on these phones. All right, here we go. There, I'm back. Let's get it, Dino. Curtis 47 says, all right, okay, here we go. First one. Now, this is obviously a Google Earth pic. And these are the only things that we have available to us as far as these kind of elevation shots. This is supposedly a high elevation shot and a snapshot off the coast of California. And you can Google Earth this yourself if you'd like and see what I'm talking about. But see, even under the floodwaters with these algorithms that they work with, this is what they capture. California has been infamous for many kind of UFO sightings, those kind of phenomena that happen coming in and out of the waters off every coast, off every beach out there. So this is their representation of what it looks like off the coast of California. Now, bit strange. Don't you agree? If this is geology, why do we have a wall with columns going vertical and then going to this mass in the center right here? And we can see the elevation drop up top of the pic. We have the coastline, little breaky there, but we see they're showing the coastline and then under here, and it looks like structure to me. It looks like melt to me. Have this here, columns underneath. We got a flow pattern down here, it looks like. These are separated out, looks like shifting. These are bunched up. Over here, we have this different than this. This looks structural to me. It looks like it is slipped off of itself, if you will, down this way. And even up here. Looks like structure. Looks like structure in here. Like it melted away and slipped off and pancaked on itself. That's what it looks like to me. But again, this is just a computer algorithm. This is just a Google Earth image. This is what the Google shows us. Now, this is not a Google Earth shot. This is a picture, a photographic evidence of this feature here, this wall feature. Very obvious, stands out in the pic. Now, could this have been poured? Sure, it could have. Most likely was. It looks like we got modern railing up here. This looks like some kind of a landslide or an earthquake or some kind of shift that separated this up here. This is what it appears like. Now it's a black and white image. It's a black and white image. But we have behind it here melted structure. Wall going across in here. In the flow, in the melt, we can see it back underneath this portion here, coming down. And we've seen this so many times before in evidence. They'll put something new up. And can all this concrete be poured? Sure it can. It is feasible. They've done it, but they foundationed it on the melt. And we've seen that many a times, especially with the Hoover Dam. Many other dams out there, we've seen them blend right into the mountainslide, part of the structure itself. And then this is what we show in Melted Red Brick University. And when you're looking at evidence, you want to look at all the evidence. You want to look at the undulation of the land that it's on. You want to see how it flows and what's around it as well. Big Jimmy, Brick Love, brother, good to see you. Big Jimmy in the nest. Excellent. Dallas Kiss. Brick Love, brother, good to see you as well. This kind of older pick here. We see the rail system going along here, all this, and this is, all this we see back in here. And it's an older shot. I snapped this just because I wanted to. But it shows down here we have this rail here that shoots around down here along this wall. We got this upper one here, goes along this wall. We got this wall right here. See where the water is? And this right here, we got this wall right here. And it wraps around. And they've created a road access along this level, and they've created a rail system along this level, along this wall up above it here. And then all of this around it here. Structure in the melt, expansion. A little grainy, so we'll move on to this one a little bit. We just did that one. We did that one. Here we go. We got these features. Again, we've seen many of these. And this is why Spartan created Melted Red Brick University, is for us all to analyze this. And we've laughed and joked about this kind of stuff. Yeah, the flying donkeys, the magical monks with the picks, or whoever created this. These narratives that are just ridiculous because, again, think of logistics. How are they going to do that? How are they going to hang and suspend them off of that and create that? They're not, okay? And this is one of the things that's automatically attacked because the evidence is too overwhelming. The whole thing is melted together, as we see here in this rock curve up here. All this, everything in this. And again, we got C14, we got red brick, and they can throw paint on too. There's so much here. We're looking at evidence. We're trying to distinguish what is and what isn't. These kind of features, we beat to death, man. And people can't understand it because they're too big, I think, for one. And the concept is just mind-blowing. And we've talked about the comfort zone and why people can't see, but we're going to focus on people that can see. And I see this feature right here, and I see the expansion coming off here. And then I'm looking in here. And we see what we see. I see columns right here. I see a column blimp down here. Another one down here that the expansion has pressed in against this here. And they're both going up. They're both going vertical into this crevasse, if you will. We see the formation of these blocks in here and how they transition into more solidness over here. Looks like ghosting in the expansion as well. We've seen that these structures blew up from the inside out, man. It's like they were grounded to the ether, grounded into the ground, grounded part of the foundation that they're on. Whatever their foundation is on, whatever supporting their foundation, the electrical energy came from that. It comes from the Schwarzen Sonne, if you will, from the underneath what we're on. because we're on a big grid component. We are a big grid component. There's many thought processes out there that show great evidence on that concept. Obvious structure. Look at the aperture in the middle. Look at the detail in here. Seen these many a times before. Many a times before. And people most definitely look at this up top first. That's amazing. How is it attached here? Well, it's attached because it's welded together. It's part of the structure, melted, welded together. And we can see the arch right here. Half of it, wonkiness as it is. We can see the ghosted columns underneath here. We can see the aperture right here of what this structure used to be attached to, because this is just a fraction of what it was. This is just melting, coasting in the melt flow right here. That's all this is. All this back here in the melt flow, all this low-level sand desert area, that is the melt flow. That was the hottest part of the melt. These things were just submerging and shifting down into themselves. And we say that because we see evidence like this right here. You have to pay attention to this right here. Again, the top is amazing. This is just as amazing. It's all part of the melt. How do you get arch here, apertures everywhere in here, columns? I mean, we've got it all. Look at the expansion right here, ghosting these features out right here. Look. Sorry for the background noise. I live right across from a daycare over here, and it's playtime again, and the kids are out there having fun. So you might hear a little background noise. My window's open. But again, look, not carved, part of this. It's structure. It's structure. It's not erosion. It's not millions and trillions of years of anything. This is an advanced civilization that was lost in the melt. Lost in the melt. How or why? We can only describe it as X factor. Why? Well, with current events ramping up today, with the way they're locking everything down, well, it's kind of obvious why. About power, it's about control. It's about this kind of information not getting out because they don't want it to get out. Now, it's a little out of the bag now. We're really not a threat to them because nobody really giving a fuck or paying attention right now. They got everybody distracted with everything else. In fact, we're laughed at and mocked from the people that are distracted, drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will. Just reloading on the coffee a little bit, crew. Just a second here. Make sure I don't flip it and spill it all over the place. But this is why it's all about distraction. That's why people can't understand what we're on, what we're showing them. And because look, now who knows? They might be going, oh my God, look at the bricks. This is all melted structure. I believe that many over there in these part of the realm that live amongst this kind of evidence, I believe a lot of the older ones know, but they're not coming out and saying, because if they do, it goes against any religious or political thought processes that are in control now. So they can't speak out because of their own safety or their own welfare, their own benefit, And we've seen this many a times with information, people coming out and telling the truth, being chastised and ruined. That's why most don't come out. You know, we here in Melted Red Brick University, we've shown evidence like this from the get-go. Spartan Red started out showing evidence like this from the get-go, and people still don't get it. And I believe this is out there in Dulce, New Mexico, I think. This shot here. It looks like Dulce, part of it anyway. But again, it's obvious structure. It's not geological formation. I don't think anybody would agree on that. I don't think any geologist would say, yeah, that's a natural feature. Well, of course it's a structure made. Is it a man-made structure? Well, most likely. Is it a being-made structure, an entity-made structure of some type? Well, most definitely it's structure. Its thought processes created this right here. What's left of this right here. Now they'll attribute this to some kind of ancient Indian building this and all of this. And a lot of the Indian native here in America will tell you that a lot of these structures, most of them, they don't know where they came from either. They were there before them. And a lot of their narratives have been created for deception as well. Just some snaps I caught of some interesting shit. We see these on renditions all the time. Why? Why so freaky? Close up again, these structures here. Why is the brick like that? This isn't dry stacked. You would think if it's dry stacked, it would have collapsed a long time ago. Many features that we've shown throughout the years now, showing this is an advanced civilization that was lost in the melt. Look at this pic right here. Well, we see the obvious on the top. Very incredible. I mean, look at that. I don't think that this was created for storing grain, okay? This is the remnants of what's left of the structure that was once there. We see the walls. I mean, look at the internal floor plans of this. They're right there. We can see the shadows being cast from the sun. So we know this is out there. We've seen many of people out there on this evidence right here. Many a times. You can go out boots on the ground it right now. We know it's there. It's not a CGI pic. It's not a created anything. This is actual evidence out there in New Mexico. Now, I say fraction of the structure because that's what we're looking at. The top fraction of the structure, because everything else that it was attached to is out in the melt. And look at the bottom down here. Look at this wall. Again, look at the expansion. Look at the texture of this. And it's down here in the melt. Where's the foundation for this wall? How far down does it go? We don't know. We don't. We know it's here. We know it's on the top of the melt here. But as far as how far down it goes and how far, what it was attached to and how big it was and what it was for, we don't know. We don't. And this area out here in Dulce, New Mexico, out there in Arizona, a lot of these features like this, most definitely, there's much more to them underneath. Much more. And the powers that be have been utilizing them for a long time now. Long time now. We know this to be true. Just reading the chat. Thanks, Big Jimmy. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Sandra, boys, you and I'll be talking, darling. I'll be getting a hold of you, honey. I'm really interested in what you got to put forward there. Again, we see this. I see this all the time. This kind of stuff has been sold on the market forever now. You can see it right now out there today. You can see it on businesses. You can see it in homes. You can see it everywhere. It's now, it's fashionable. And they get the thought for that off of you. Well, So again, this is another thing that we have to be on the lookout for. We have this kind of stuff all over the melt. We've shown it. Here's another example of it. Look at the texture. Look at your color differentials. Look at your transitioning. Look at your heat damage. Color differentials. Look at your wave and your texture. Look at the texture on this. It looks like it was cooked off. The stucco, the outer part of this was cooked off because it was. We see it in the melt. And these things have been ancient mysteries forever now, and they've made billions of dollars off of books and videos and everything else out there, trying to figure out the great mystery. Well, there's a lot of great mysteries. First and foremost, why are these fucking things melted? And second, who created them? And third, who melted them? I mean, the list goes on as far as questions go. Another famous one here. Again, I show this. And this is out in the Baltic Sea, I guess, and most people called it a crashed UFO. Well, crashed UFO, why is it setting on top of structure? Melted underneath it. Look at the ballooning going on here. Look at this vertical going up here and then underneath in here as well. And what's this terracing down here? This terracing down here. Expansion off of here, apertures up in here, sinking down, attached to the bottom down here, with all this down here underneath it. It's all part of the same structure. What is it? I don't fucking know. And we see these kind of features, and again, we stick with the evidence, and when I mean by the evidence, I mean by meltology. But in meltology, we see renditioning in the melt, symbology in the melt. And this is why we got to come together as meltologists. And we've got to talk religion to a point as to we know it's something that is captured everybody as far as where we come from, where we go when we leave here in our physical form. And we see these symbols in the melt. So I ask myself, I've done this for a while now, I ask myself, well, if we're seeing these kind of symbols like we see here, and many others out there, many other symbols in the melt. So they were there before the melt. If they're in the melt, they were part of the structures in the melt. So they were attached to the structures before the melt. Have these symbols been hijacked and given a different meaning for us today? And why? You can take any symbol out there and you can manipulate it and make people think anything you want to about it. And they've done that. They've done that. You take the swastika. You take the swastika. And if you show somebody a swastika, the first thing that they're going to think of is a goose-stepping white guy. Yeah? A Nazi. Yeah? Well, if you take that same symbol to India, they'll show you a totally different meaning for that symbol, total opposite of that symbol. So it just goes to show us that symbology, these symbols can be, put forward to people that don't know anything and presented as truth. There's much needed as far as the discussion on religion and Meltology, because religion holds a place in Meltology. The only problem is the ones focused solely on the religious aspect of it have put blinders on to where they will ignore the evidence put in front of them. Questions put in front of them that suggest more content in their description of what they think, their scripture. This is why I think we need more topics on religion and many other things as far as what controls us. Because we know humanity has not been very kind to each other. We see evidence like this that's been in the melt. I've showed many streams with evidence like this where we find the remnants, the corpses melted into the structures around them. The abnormality of the bone structures itself. Seeing bone do things that you only see really in like people with very rare abnormalities like gigantisms or whatever that make their skeletal structure so deformed, like Mr. Merrick, the Elephant Man, if you will, if you've ever heard of him, had an abnormality that made his bone structure abnormal in such a grotesque manner. Shocking manner. Well, we see this same kind of thing right here, but I don't think this person suffered from any kind of genetic deformation. I think that he was melted into the fucking structure that he's resting in, because look at the expansion off the back of his skull. Look at the spine coming down from his neck. Look at his mouth. Look at the whole thing about it. And that's another reason why Spartan Red created Melted Red Brick University, is because I know, and he does too, that all of you out there, some of you might be just entering your adulthood and you're getting into your areas of interest and you're looking at advancing in those. And then there's some out there that have a few decades in now that have learned a lot and are compiling your thought processes together and reaching out to your peers and trying to continue on. And then there's the older generation that have gone through a lot more of their lifetime in their areas of expertise and interest, that are at a point in their lives now to where they see where we're at now, and how are they going to collectively or individually come together to advance what they want, what they've learned. Well, what we do is the newer ones coming in have to rely on the older ones that have been through it. And the older ones that have been through it have to rely on the newer ones coming up to understand what they've learned so they can carry on more advanced, more progression. See, that's how this shit goes. Now, I can show this pic right here. And, it's obvious, part of a dam structure, some kind of a feature. It looks like fairly new. It looks like it's been poured. We got retouched up here. From whatever event, this ended up down here like this. We need you old structural engineers out there to look at this evidence. Old and new pics. Anybody out there with advanced technical skills in operating and actually hands-on working in this stuff, we need you to come forward and bring your expertise into this. If you've got something that we've missed because of your geological, intellectual advantage, if you will, okay, you need to come forward and explain this kind of stuff to us. Because right now, what you've been putting out forever doesn't hold water, if you will. Hiding and not answering does not get us anywhere. The separation that keeps us apart hides us from everything we want to know. One of the first things that I think, and this history has proved this, when you want to take over another or whatever your nefarious agenda is, one of the first rules, one of the first tools of combat is separate and divide. Separate and divide each other. If we can't agree on the most simple things, then how are we ever going to agree to come together to solve any kind of problem that we have? We all wear the mask. We all wear the mask. When you wake up in the morning and you're scratching your ass on the way to the coffee pot or the toilet, your mask is off. Now, when we're done having our morning diligence and our caffeine fix, we prepare our mask and we put it on. And we go out to the party where everybody else has their mask on as well. And we mingle around each other in our masks, in our roles that we're playing, acting and being the way that we think everybody else wants us to act and be like. Not how we really are, but how they want us to be. And we get so accustomed to doing that, we call that lifestyle, we call it culture. What's popular today is mocked and laughed at tomorrow. Because that's the way we are. We have to have the instant, the new, the now, the exciting. It's got to be more and more and more. Every time it's got to be better, better, better. Sensationalism is what we hunger for. And when it comes to Meltology, personally, I've really not found anything more sensational than what I'm looking at right here. Expansion, horizontal apertures, ghosting, texture. Horizontal, apertures. This piece coming across, rock curtain, cooked out underneath. Looks like a lot of ghosting going on in here. Aperture, pancaking. Expansion here, stopping this chunk, resting on this. See it coming down. Fracture line here, expansion of structure, compression, expansion going on. Rock curtain over these. And you got to understand too, a lot of this is just disintegrated out. And what we're looking at is the internals in a lot of these areas right here. A lot of this evidence like this right here, we're looking at expanded internals. Sometimes we're looking at expanded internals with expanded stucco right next to it because the inside out is pushed everything from the inside out. And this massive expansion, this meltdown. We see the different horizontal, vertical, right angle, odd angle, 7 o'clock positioning to 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock positioning. We see all these angles. Well, that's the kind of angles you're going to get when you get structures collapsing down up within themselves from buoyancy and density of the mass of themselves. We have features that remain like this. Where's the rest of it? Just like all the other evidence we showed, where's the rest of the building? They didn't just stop building like this, and they wouldn't have built like this in the first place, because you don't. And this is why we need structural engineers to take a look at this stuff. We want your education, your thought processes, man. Your honest observations of what we're looking at here. What we're looking at. All over this realm. Because what we've had now is decades and decades of History Channel shows, sci-fi documentaries, experts, coming out and giving us their narratives. And they've made big money on it and still are. And they've always came to the same conclusions. It's either biblical or it's extraterrestrial. We see evidence like this where they're still being habitable. They're still being lived out of. They're still, and most your eyes glance over. But when you start looking at the details of structures like this, you see the heat damage. You don't build like that. It's all welded together. So if we want kind of a glimpse of what these things looked like before the melt, well, we can see a pic like this that shows us this kind of evidence. And, if you've ever laid brick, mortar, anything, or built anything with concrete or whatever, you're not going to build like that. You can't. These things are welded together. We see the sides of the stucco cooked off, man. Meltology is very wide, man, as far as the evidence goes. From the types and areas of the melt. And that's why we want to come together with others, especially if you've got any kind of background in creating this kind of shit. Just read the chat a little bit here. I am Nancy. Hello, darling. Good to see you. Good to see you. Rick love, honey. You know, we want people that come in that have been on this kind of work crew. Okay. And show us, break it down with us as far as what we're seeing here. Because I've covered this with Spartan many a times, this feature here. And one thing that geologists can't explain is what the fuck are these things, man? What are these? Center pick. Are we to believe that they came in and either built these or carved these into this to lay some kind of a grip, foundation, support, traveling up this vertical incline to help any kind of structure that they're going to make off of this here? I mean, what are we looking at here? Because, you know, I'm seeing structure in the melt right here. This piece, the texturing of it all in the melt. All this down here, buried in the melt. All these nubs coming out here in the melt. All positioned and melted together. You can roll them out. You can see them. You know, explain to us how you're going to build this into the side of this here and hold back the magnitude of water. And you know, this was created by the ground up. You know the scale of this thing, how large this is? Well, let's take an eagle-eye view. Where do you want to start? Why not start at the melt? Color differentials. Fracture expansion line of some sort. Equipment, crew, structure. The underside of the bottom portion of this dam, if you will. What's this? Texture. Logistics. Here's these nubs again. See them? It's underneath them. Why does this go in underneath here? So we travel up. The terracing. Once again, these nubs in the melt at the bottom of the terracing. Is that geological formation? Is that some kind of a erosion signature? What? Come on now, we see them over here too. See them? They're in the melt. They're in the melt. This whole thing is in the melt. Look at your color differentials right here. Look at the expansion. Look at the wall features in the melt. We're across structure in it too. Look. In the melt. Going down, all the way down under the water into the melt. You're transitioning right here. Under the water, above the water. What's that? Road access made on top of this feature that come across here. Look at the expansion coming off here. Look at all that mess. Look at all that mess. Look at this feature coming down here. Follow my cursor. It goes down into the water right here. Some kind of equipment, this blue thing, I would expect. Something. But how this feature that walls out and goes down into the melt. Right there. Very cooked out. Whatever this was right here. Lost in the melt. And it recesses back under in here. Pancaking again. Boom, 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 down. Again, these nubs right here, this feature in here, this expansion, whatever this is here, it's all part of a massive structure, man. You got to think. Look, here's equipment and people down here, and the size. The size, they're like fucking ants right here. Look at this wall feature. The expansion comes off in here and blends right into the side here. Look at the lines that come through, blend right into the side here. These were specks. And look, here's a big tower. Look, here's a big electrical tower or something right there. This gives us scale. See that? This gives us scale. Look how this road is, the wall underneath the road right here. Look, this wall feature that makes this access they've got right here. Look, it's all in the melt, man. There's specs, logistics now. Look. Looking down. All of it lost in the melt. Big piece of equipment here, some sort, casting a shadow. What do we got going on here? Obvious, some sort of equipment tank, whatever. We've got this. Why? What is that? This over here. Look at this wall feature. We're looking down. We have this here. Why? How? Rock curtaining over the top here. Looking down. Showing this wall feature coming out here. We lose it in here. Picks up over here. What's this in the middle here? Why does this look like this over here? Why are there right angle aperture structure in that mass right here coming down? Why? Why? A lot of whys. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I have many. I know you do too, crew. Why? How? We know what the narratives tell us. Old pick. Again, dam structure. Old pick. Power tools, I believe, weren't in. Power tools were not created until like the late 1890s, 93, 95, somewhere around there. 1890 something. This is an old pick. I don't know how old, but old. And a lot of these old picks that span back before the 1890s and stuff that show these same features right here. How were they done without power tools? How were they done without power tools? You think power tools, you got to think cranes as well. Everything to run the equipment as well. How? You're going to have features like this called a dam, and nobody thinks about it. Nobody thinks about it. We see the face of this here. Well, what about this side over here? My thought process is going more into these are pockets of survival of some kind of tech that we're now refurbishing and using them for different things that they might have been not used before the melt. We know the melt happened and then the floodwaters came in. We know that the water avenues, that the way they mastered the water in this realm, in the evidence it shows us that this realm was melted to a point where the hydraulic functioning of this place before the melt was destroyed, altered. The state of matter was changed. And the pathways the water took, because water will flow in the least resistance. It will go where it goes. It becomes where it goes. It takes the shape of where it goes, what it sets in. It finds its own avenue, unless it's altered. Background noise, train going by, sorry about that. Some renditioning. Again, how the hell did they carve it in granite? We're asked. We see things like this in Meltology as well. And this is where we need people with big brains in mythology and ancient historical, whatever, the traditional verbal origins of generations passed down. This is where we need people to start coming together to bring some thoughts on this. We know they're in the melt. We know they're part of the melt. Now, we could be told the narrative that this king of this land here, saith the Lord, took over this one here and killed everybody in it because of this reason why. We can believe all of that. But who's to say that's true? The only thing we do know is the evidence right here is showing this. This shows some kind of a meeting, some kind of an offering. And they look prominent because, this one's got a person behind them with something. Doing what? Is that a cat's tail? One of those plants that grow out of the swamps? What is that he's doing up here? I mean, these are the questions that we need to ask. Is this some sort of a tech piece here? What's going on with the thing in the middle? Who's this guy here? Why has he got a club in his hand? I mean, these are the things that we need to ask, man. They're in the melt. They need to be addressed. Again, dams. Look. This grid system was massive, massive, massive. This was not poured concrete. This is in the melt. This is part of the structure here. The whole thing is the same structure. It's a pocket of survival. All of this pick is a pocket of survival. Look at the expansion coming off over this here. Look how it's attached to this dam in the back. This here most definitely could have been, can't get enough detail on it, but it could have been constructed here, but it's foundation in the melt. In fact, it looks like it's part of the melt because of the, looks like the color differentials are going a lot more wider down here. And then we get down below to the obvious kind of melt expansion, scorching, ghosting that we've seen so many times before, terracing down and out. Now, they've built these electrical towers and strung all this shit across it. This is here before the melt. This is the melt right here. This wasn't poured. Again, logistics, man. Logistics. And I mean, how the fuck? You're going to get that much concrete, that much supplies, that much manpower to pour that many cubic metric tons of fucking, holy shit. No, this is in the melt. This is part of the terrain, if you will. Looking at the time here, crew, got to catch the ride to work here in a few minutes. Got a little bit of time left. You know, we see structures like this, very famous, very, very famous. But most people don't know that there was a feature here before this feature here. Most people, I think there was a feature here called the Seven Fathers or something. Some kind of renditioning here was before that. And it was Native American. I'm not for sure. I got to research that a little bit more. But there was a feature before this feature. Well, this feature before this feature was in the melt, on the side of this melt here, because that's exactly what it is. What's this? Center pick. What is that? Hold on a minute. Looks a little strange to me. Big block. Big block here. What is this? Looks like it's something. Could have been destroyed. Could have been hacked on. I don't know, but it's different than the rest of the texture around this thing here. It stands out to me. What are these in here? What is his here? What are these apertures here? What is this? Why is there half an arch here? What is this? See it? Again, the magnitude and the size of these structures was incredible. It's a melted structure. See the floor plan? Or part of it? Can't see this wall here, one coming off here, are right angles forming these spaces in the middle. You don't see that? You don't see this here, how this expansion from the bottom up, heat energy from the bottom up, how this coming across right here. Look how it's going down into the melt right here. Look how it did go down into the melt right here. Look at that. Wall feature, melted out right here. Look. You can see right angle up here, ghosting. Let me see here, reading the chat. Bella's Kiss, Sandra Boys. Just reading the chat. Yes, Sandra, everything is frequency vibration. Thank you, Earl. Thank you, brother. Thank you all for being here. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody that's come into Melted Red Brick University recently. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the Eagle Eye crew. Welcome to the fam. Always on the hunt we are. Breaking down the evidence we do. And if you noticed, I've been on the page a little bit, welcoming and going through some evidence, and a lot of great boots on the ground out there. A lot of great stuff. Elizabeth Sumner, wonderful stuff, darling. Monica, again, bringing the melt. Crystal Frisbee out there, still throwing it out there. Alchemos 83, I see you, brother. Tobias, I see you too, man. Love you very much. Respect you deeply. As with anybody else out there, even the ones that I piss off. Love and respect you too. We're about bringing people together. And sometimes we have to express ourselves in a way that makes us take a step back and address ourselves. And I do that all the time. I know you do too. It's about the evidence, as we keep saying. It's the evidence. It's about this. This is an early 1900 pick or very late 1800 pick. Again, power tools weren't created until around the 1890s. What would you need to have to make something like this? Older pick. What's going on here? Again, features like this throughout the realm. Why? Who? When? Texture. How? You know, what does this mean? What is this rendition for? Who were these people? What kind of technology do they have? Did they possess? Where did they come from? Just ripping through some pics. Crew, asking questions, because I have a lot of them. Thus, the title for this stream today. A lot of questions we all should have. And you know, I get into the evidence and I get enthralled, man. I go deep. I like these older pics, man, because they're before the power tools. They're before all the narratives. They're before all the distraction. You know, that's what Meltology is. We get into it all. Now we know who created this. In fact, it shows the guy creating it. He's the same guy that created Mount Rushmore, that chiseled or blew his way into that renditioning. This guy that did this is the same one that did Mount Rushmore. And this is a Confederate rendition here. You know, it's things like this we break down, and Spartan's done this before. Broke down the person that was given the accreditation for these, a lot of things that we see, these buildings, these structures that say that were manufactured by men of today, of not too long ago. And we've shown that they're false narratives. They're a lot of times false people created to support the fake narratives. We see features like this everywhere. Why? We ask, we beg, we plead for the academia, the powers that be, to come out and take a serious approach to this, and to at least take into account what we're bringing forward with Meltology about how the structures present themselves. We call that evidence. So much out there, man. We're part of something way bigger. And throughout it all, from the evidence, it appears to me that two things have remained a constant. That's life and death. It's love and hate, all wrapped up in the evidence. We've seen it. This realm was really, I think, beyond our concept of what we think and can imagine beauty is. Why? Look at that. This is hanging, supposedly. Why is it fused there? It's just small details like this, you know. There's other details like this. What did this mean? The renditionings, the symbology all over it. What did it mean? You know, these are the questions, man. These are the and we have to ask ourselves why and how. And we have to ask each other, where do we go now in Meltology? Well, for the Eagle Eye crew from Melted Red Brick University, it's right here in the nest. That's where we go. Every time we come up and stream, that's where your donations go to keep this stream up. I believe that if you send in the donations, the nest will be here. And if it not, then I will re-platform it and bring it back in. But we're the Eagle Eye crew. And we got a lot of questions out there for academia, for everybody, man. All we want you to do is pay attention and at least acknowledge what we're showing you here was not created by the narratives that we've been given. Brick Love crew, one love everybody out there. I am still up in here. Good. I've been watching on my phone at the same time, trying to read chat, trying to bring this again forward to you, crew, because I do love you and I do respect you, and I do value your time. Thank you, everybody out there. Like I said before, if you want to get a hold of me, if you're not on the Facebook, Sandra Boys especially, I sent my Gmail out there. Okay. And I didn't receive anything that I can find. Just give me a second. Here we go. You can throw it out to me here, and I'll try to find it, and we'll catch up. If you're on the Facebook and you want to send me anything, please do, man. If you want to, got something very important or whatever, you know, let me know. I'm here. I'm available. I'm either at work. I'm doing this right here. Sandra says, well, I've done my best. The next out. Remember, it's all in the industry revolution. Of course, Sandra, I've done my best. Sandra, I'm going to get a hold of you somehow. I'm going to try to find out what the hell. So hang in there, darling. You have done good, and I'm going to get with you. You are on my mind, honey. You're very important to me. You're part of the family. You are Eagle Eye crew. You know, you love all of you, man. Yeah, there's a lot of new wave stuff going up, Alice Kiss. Killer Evidence, Mr. Merciless, thank you. Curtis 47, love you too, brother. A lot more in the chat. Dean, I very much appreciate you and the Laughing Eagle. Big Jimmy, we appreciate you too, Big Jimmy. And thank you for being here, brother. Yeah, a quick stream this morning, and you know they're going to be more frequent. I'm going to come up with quick ones like this, and when I do got days off and a little bit more time, I'm going to be throwing out the link. Yeah, I want everybody out there new into Melted Red Brick University. Okay, we're a university concept level forum here. Meltology is a new thought process, if you will, very young. Even for the few years that we've been up here, thank you to Spartan Red, Laughing Eagle for creating these platforms. Bringing everybody together. And my goal now is to bring people in, people with some background, people with some, actual, real knowledge of some stuff here and their expertise. We're wanting these conversations, man. All right. And I'm eager to have them. And so, in future streams coming up in here, I will be throwing out the link and we'll be breaking it down for those that want to do it. So, Brick Love, One Love, everybody out there. Oh no, Sandra. Hold on a minute. Let me check. Still looking, still here, Sandra. Hold on a minute. Just checking some stuff. Yeah, Sandra, I'll be getting back with you, honey. I might throw the link out next time, Sandra, and you can come up in here on the YouTube. You can grab the link and come up in here. I believe that can be done. I've seen it done before. So, looking forward to that, Sandra. I'll be getting a hold of you, darling. But Brick Love, One Love to everybody out there. Backwards phone number. Sandra, I wish could as well have my phone number out. Yeah, I know. We'll get it done, Sandra, one way or the other, honey. Hang in there. But I do have to skedaddle. Got a few minutes to get myself together. Yeah. I get myself together here, but I don't put on a mask when I go out. I'm as raw and real as I am out there as I am here. Sometimes I have to put on a muffler, a filter a little bit. If you can understand that if you want to maintain a position and income. So, but anyway, crew, I do love you. Thank you for everybody being up in here, and keep posting the evidence, keep bringing them on in. And Brick Love, everybody, I love you. Melted Red Brick University, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.